karaoke queen of Cumbernauld. Now, how did that happen? In 2013, I was this wee 70-year-old widow woman. I had just lost my husband after 50 years of marriage. We'd celebrated our golden wedding anniversary in February, and he passed away in April. And he'd always been my rock, and I didn't know how I was going to manage without him. I even wrote a poem about it. Anyway, I have a very loving family. I've got 5 sons, 10 grandkids, and my youngest son still lived with me. So he was there with me all the time. And then my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, she gave me a lot of support, and I gave her a lot of support because she was very close to her granda. So her and I get even closer. So visiting back and forward, and she arranged for me to have a tattoo done on my 55th wedding anniversary. But just before that, I'd had to move out of the house that we'd lived in because Alan had decided that him and his girlfriend were going to buy a house, and I was going to be left in this big 5-bedroom house on my own. So I decided to downsize. The 5 bedrooms was just far too much for me. So I downsized and I moved into a 1-bedroom flat, and it was a combined living room kitchen with a bedroom and a bathroom, and it was just absolutely ideal. So, as I say, on the 16th of February, Nicole took me to get my tattoo, a golden wedding anniversary rose with the name of the song that my husband loved me singing as part of the tattoo. So life was just going on as normal. I'd get back to my own social life and things like that. But now, because I had moved away from my area, I was just, things weren't the same as they'd always been. So at the end of 2018, my cousin was home for Australia on holiday, and I'd always wanted to go to Australia because I had friends all over Australia and had family in New Zealand. And I had been researching the family tree and had come across a cousin who lived outside Perth, and I'd been in contact with her. So everybody was, quite happy for me to come and visit. So I booked it, flew out on my own. Brave Anna, just no problem. Got to Perth, went to see Edward, stayed there with him for about 8 days, and met up with this cousin, Christina, who actually was a second cousin. Her grandfather was my grandfather's brother. So after doing all the family tree and that, caught up with her. I then went from there to Sydney, where I had a friend who'd moved out in 1954. I'd seen her once since then. She'd been home on holiday in 1974, and I'd visited with her then. But we kept in contact. So anyway, she hadn't been very well, and she had arranged for me to go and stay with her sister and her husband. Now, I thought this was only for like an overnight stay, but they actually looked after me for the full time that I was there. They took me back and forward to see Katie whenever I could, but they took me everywhere. They took me to the Sydney Opera House, just everywhere. They even took me to where they filmed Home and Away, which I'm a good fan of. So I went there and I saw the filming being made. Then I moved from there to Brisbane, where my husband's old uncle lived. But unfortunately, I couldn't stay with Uncle Bill because he was 97, didn't have facilities for me to live with him, and his family were all out working, so I couldn't go and stay with them. I'd never met them. So anyway, I booked into a hotel And my granddaughter contacted friends who were living in Brisbane, and they came and took me out. And my son Stephen, his best friend, one of his best friends, Mark, he came and took me out for a drink and had a great time in Brisbane. But I then had to finish up flying from there to New Zealand on my own. My cousin's family lived there. So I had an absolute fantastic time because all these people were making a fuss of me and I was being treated like royalty, actually. I was having a fantastic time. So when I came back, I'd been over there for 6 weeks between Australia and New Zealand, came home after 6 weeks and decided right away I was going to book to go to Canada and America, where I also had family. In Canada, I had a cousin that I had found through doing the family research. And I went to visit her and her husband, and they took me on the loch on the falls, the Niagara Falls. Is it Niagara Falls? Yeah. Anyway, they took me there, and I had a fantastic time with them. They took me to Seaport Stanley. They took me to Seaport Glasgow. And they were so nice. I had never met them in my life before, and they wouldn't let me spend a penny. It was absolutely fantastic. So when I left them, I went to Boston in the USA, met up with an old school friend, my sister's, and she had actually worked with my husband and I, the two as well, worked on the buses. I was a clippy, and he was a bus driver. So I went to visit with her, and a couple of friends that I had been in contact with through the internet, singing. They came to visit me and they took me to Salem. Then I went from Boston to Nashville, met up with some friends of the family there. They again, I was just treated like royalty everywhere I went. They took me to the Grand Ole Opry, and I had a wee shot singing on one of the pubs in Nashville. Then I went from there to Alabama to meet my husband's sister, my sister-in-law Lorraine and her husband Jess, and their family. And we had a great time catching up with everything that had happened in the family. And then they took me to New Orleans. And I actually sang in a pub in Bourbon Street in New Orleans. It was absolutely fantastic. On the road to the airport when I was going back, I was picking cotton. It was such an experience. It was absolutely brilliant. And that's me. I had spent another 6 weeks in between Canada and the USA. So when I came home, I thought, I've had such a good time. I've got to start getting out and getting in amongst people again, because I was starting to kind of stagnate before I had went. So I decided that I was going to get a hold of myself. And I found this website. I'm quite good with computers. So I found this website where it was called Meetup. No, it wasn't a dating thing. It was like a kind of umbrella meetup thing named, where they had different groups where you would be interested in people that wanted to go for walks, people that wanted to go into quizzes and things like that. So I joined this group called Older and Bolder, and it was for people over 50, which was fine with me. But as I say, it wasn't dating or anything like that. What we would do would be meet up in Glasgow once a fortnight, go to this pub, have a meal, a drink, and make up teams. There'd maybe be 12 of us there, and we'd make up a couple of teams, and there would be a quiz, and we would take part in the quiz, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I love quizzes. Anyway, I also joined this other group called Widow and Widowers, and got together with lots of new friends, made loads and loads of new friends, of both male and female, but mostly females. and we would go out for nights out and things like that. And we decided that we were going to go to Krakow in March. We were going to go and see the concentration camps. So we got it all booked, paid up and everything. Everybody was excited about it. And then COVID hit us, COVID-19 hit us. And we were all floored. We couldn't go anywhere. We were stuck in the house, getting groups on WhatsApp and meeting up with people, you know, keeping in contact with each other through that. But we couldn't meet face to face. And it was really annoying because we were getting on so well and I made so many really good friends. So I was stuck in the house, didn't know what to do with myself. And then my granddaughter, Nicole, she started up this group called Cumbernauld COVID-19, looking for volunteers to help people who were self-isolating, taking their dogs for walks, getting shopping for them, getting their prescriptions and things like that. And I was desperate to help, but there was no way I could help do any of that because I was self-isolating as well. So I thought, what can I do? What can I do? And the only thing that I know I can do is I can talk and I can sing. I might not be the best singer out, but I love to sing. Ever since I was a wee girl, family parties, everybody had their party piece. My mother was a fantastic yodeler. All the family, my granny and granda, they harmonised. My mother and father harmonised. And my father encouraged me to sing. And I would start singing and he would say to me, if you sing a song right through, Anna, I'll give you £0.50. And I thought, right, okay, £0.50 was a lot of money then. So I would sing my wee heart out. But every song I sang, he'd have an excuse not to give me my £0.50. He would say, oh, you went off tune there. You sang the wrong words there. So, but it didn't bother me because I actually loved singing. I loved to sing and I've always loved to sing. I sang in a karaoke for years. So I found out that you could do this streaming video on Facebook, and I'm quite good with computers, so I had a wee look and I found out that I could do it. On the 19th of March, I started singing online and I got such a great response. I only went on for about half an hour or something. And I got this great response for people saying, you've cheered us up, Anna. You've really cheered us up. You're doing really well. So that was all I needed. So every night then, from then on, I would, because I had an audience, it gave me incentive to make sure that I put some makeup on, did my hair, got the earrings on, got glammed up before I would go online and meet up with these people. They couldn't talk to me. They could type in, but they couldn't talk to me. I was the one that was doing all the singing and they were sending me requests and I've got a fan base. So it was really great and I kept on doing it right up until the 23rd of August when my sister who lived in Manchester had a stroke and I went down to Manchester for a couple of weeks to spend some time with her. Unfortunately, she actually passed away on the 29th of August and we had her funeral on the 11th of September. So in all that time, I hadn't went online. But after her funeral on the 11th of September, I went back online and I dedicated that show to Elizabeth. And a lot of them were friends, Elizabeth, because she'd been watching my show and her and I had been interacting. So it was great that and I was singing a lot of her favourite songs. So I got, not long after that, I get a call from one of the presenters on Cumbernauld FM 106.8 to ask me if I would let them interview me. And I said, why would you want to interview me? Because you've been doing this all that time. I said, oh, yeah, no problem. I'd love that. Always wanted to be a star. So anyway, I went to the station and they interviewed me, and I had a great afternoon. I didn't go to the station, sorry, they phoned me and done the interview over the phone. And it was great, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I got a lot of good remarks about it. And about a week later, they contacted me and asked me if I would like to do a show of my own on the radio. And I thought, a radio star? I'd love to do that. So what kind of show would you like me to put on? Whatever you want, Anna. It's up to you. You can do what you want. And I thought, well, I don't want to do one where I'm singing. I want to do one where I'm aiming for the more mature listener. So I decided that I would go on for an hour on a Wednesday night at 6 p.m. and play a lot of old songs that brought back memories for people. And it was things that gave them memories of when they were young, when they'd get married and things like that. And I'd ask for requests. So I started getting requests, and I decided that I was going to call this show Memories of the Way We Were. And so until now, every Wednesday night, I go on there and I start off with me singing a wee bit of memories like the corners of my mind, misty watercoloured memories of the way we were. So now I'm a radio star, I'm a Facebook star. At my age, I'm the karaoke queen of Cumbernauld, and I'm loving it. So just remember, don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today, and you're never too old to follow your dreams. Thank you very much.